Step 1. Setting the stage. Before we can begin, we have to teach the dogs the rules. The rules are you stay behind the threshold, you're going to be getting rewarded. And when I tell you your release word, you get to come through the threshold to get the reward on the other side. I am intentionally stepping through the threshold and standing outside while I reward the dog to create the picture that the reason they're getting reinforced is for staying inside while I am outside. Step 2 is practicing opening the door. During step 1, we established that staying behind the threshold is what's rewarding, and so we are using that experience the dog has had to work on opening the door and the dog staying behind the threshold instead of darting through. If and when the dog does dart past us, we're simply not going to reward that repetition and reset. As you continue to make progress, you can begin stepping through the threshold yourself while rewarding your dog behind you in the same zone you were rewarding them before. During this stage, you can also begin introducing some distance and duration by stepping further away from the door and rewarding the dog for staying behind the threshold. Step 3 is practice walking out. During this step, everything you've been working on starts to come together. During this step, you want to practice walking towards the door with intention like you would in any other scenario. During this step, it's important to remember to reward your dog in the same zone they were being rewarded in previously. Take it slow. Don't expect to walk through the door and walk away during the first repetition. If your dog fails and darts through the door, take a few steps back and go a little bit slower. As I'm walking through the door, I'm throwing the treats behind me in the same zone the dog was being rewarded in before. Step 4 is increase distance and duration. During this stage, you're going to be increasing the amount of distance between you and the door and increasing the amount of time you're asking your dog to stay behind the threshold. It's important to reward your dog frequently and go at a slow pace so that your dog doesn't have as many opportunities to fail. Keep practicing until you reach the distance and duration you wanted to achieve. You can do this same exercise with any threshold you want. It's important to remember that if the threshold you're using does not lead to a fenced-in area, you need to have a leash on your dog. Remember to use your release word when telling the dog to come through.